Hello, welcome to Tea Traders. We're based on Guildhall Square in the centre of Carmarthen, and you'll also find us online. We're at www.teatraders.co.uk. We can deliver out to you across the UK. We're a specialist tea shop. We have over 100 different teas in our range. We also serve coffee, hot chocolates, snacks, homemade cakes. We work as a regular tea shop, but as well as that, behind me on the shelves, you can see some of our selection of specialist teas. And what I thought we'd do in this video is brew up some tea. I'm going to do a pot of a green tea. This is called Long Jing, and Long Jing or Long Jing, you might find it as both names, is a classic famous green tea from China. And I'm going to brew that with you this afternoon, just to give you some pointers and tips in case you've tried green tea in the past and perhaps not been too excited by the taste. Maybe you found it a bit bitter, and we'll try and help you with that to enjoy the tea a little more. So I've got a glass teapot today so you can see the tea infusing, and our teapot has got an infuser inside, so we're going to put the tea into that. And Long Jing tea is a green tea, but it's a large leaf green tea, and it has a distinctive grassy taste. And China has 10 famous teas, of which Long Jing is one of their 10 famous teas. So it's really traditional, and for many hundreds of years it's been grown and enjoyed. So we're just going to set this off to brew, and then I'll tell you a little about what we've done to prepare it. There we go. So while that's brewing underway, perhaps if you've tried green tea in the past, either as loose leaf or as maybe a tea bag, you possibly have found it a little bitter. And there's a few reasons why that might be. And it's more to do with the way you brew the tea than the actual quality of the leaves. Although in a tea bag, the pieces of leaf are often much smaller, and so the tea brews more quickly. And that can lead to some bitterness in the tea as well if you overbrew. But more important than that is to do some simple things that are very easy really to sort out. One is not to use boiling water. Now, I've got a little flask of hot water here, but that's just for convenience for the video. If you're boiling the kettle at home and you let the water come to a full boil, the water will be around about 98 degrees, depending on your kettle. But for green tea, it needs to be a lower temperature, around 70 or 80 degrees. And that means that you need to let the water cool. So the couple of things you can do, but one of the easiest things is to just let the kettle boil and then just walk away from the kettle once it's boiled and leave it for 45 seconds to a minute and let the temperature fall, and it will come down to about 80 degrees, and then pour the water onto your tea leaves. Within the tea shop, sometimes if we're very busy, an alternative way of doing it is to fill a jug with hot water, maybe 3/4 hot water, and then add 1/4 of cold water from the tap. And that will bring the temperature down quite quickly to about 70 degrees. Not exact, but it's a rule of thumb that will give you the right kind of range of temperatures to work with. The other important thing is to brew your tea more quickly for green tea than you might do for the strength of a black tea that you want to add milk to. In this case today, to help me stay on track while I'm chatting with you, I've got a tea timer. These are quite handy and we use them in the tea shop when we bring tea to table. And these have got 3 different time slots: a 3-minute, 4-minute and a 5-minute brewing slot. And the 2 or 3 minute timer is what we want to use for green tea. And I tend to like my green tea on the lighter side, so I always pour 2 to 3 minutes rather than 3 to 4. It does make a difference. So our tea's now been brewing in the teapot for the last 3 minutes, and the tea itself is quite clear, but it will have infused very nicely. It's almost colourless to pour. It does have a golden, greeny, yellow colouring to it. And once I've poured the drink, then there's more left in the teapot. And I want to enjoy that in a second pouring without the tea getting too strong. So what I'm going to do is take the whole infuser with the tea leaves inside, take that out of the water, and then that will just stand there nicely and be absolutely fine to drink. It won't overbrew, it won't get bitter. And that's it. That's the best way to brew green tea. It's nice and straightforward, not complicated, and I'm brewing into a glass cup again so you can see the colour. I'm just going to come a little closer so you can get this a little easier on film, but you can see just quite a clear drink. It does have a green colouring, but one of the nice things about green tea is they're really refreshing, and after your first pot, 2 pots, when you experiment a little with your brew, you will be able to fine-tune your preference for strength and for water temperature. This is just a guide. One thing I didn't mention actually is that I put 1 teaspoon of tea from the caddy spoon into this teapot, and that's a slightly heaped or raised teaspoon. If my pot was slightly bigger, perhaps a pot for 2 people, then I'd be putting 2 heaped spoons, and if it was more of a family pot for 3 or 4 people, then you might put in 3 or 4 heaped spoons. Again, it differs from tea to tea and from green tea to green tea. So experiment with your first brewing and then adjust as you need to. Now, on all our packets of tea, this is the Long Jing that I'm using. It gives you a little bit of information about the tea on the front, but also it helps you with suggestions of brewing and recommendations on the back of the packet. And in the case of green tea, it will give you the water temperature and the suggested brewing time of 2 to 3 minutes. If you brew some of our other teas, and we have a whole range, so we've got your standard black teas, but 40 different types of black tea, so there's plenty to try if you want to try something new. And then we've got oolongs, white teas, herbal and fruit tisanes, and a whole range of less common teas. We've got a lovely frost tea, we've got a yellow tea from China that's quite rare, and just recently adding to our range, we've got a range of teas which are grown and processed in Wales. And there's only one company in Wales that's growing tea. We're on the borderline for suitable climate, suitable growing conditions, but this company is based near Cowbridge in South Wales, about an hour's drive away from us, and we've been working with them over the last year or so, and we're now selling their tea here in the shop. So if you want to try a green tea that's grown, processed in Wales, then we have something for you to try. This Welsh green tea is something special. But I think this should have cooled now, so I'll say cheers, enjoy your teas. Thanks for joining me for this video. And while I enjoy my tea, enjoy your day, and we'll see you soon. Take care now.